Hi, welcome to Clarksville Now's candidate forums for the upcoming Montgomery County Republican primary. We're here with the candidates for property assessor. They are Caitlin Castle-Swafford and Aaron Hester. And I thank you both so much for running for office. It's an important thing, and we're glad you're doing it. If you could start with some introductions, tell us who you are and why you're qualified for the office.
Well, thank you. So I'm Caitlin Castle-Swafford. I am a resident of Montgomery County. My family and I live in the Fredonia area. I have 6 years of working at the assessor's office experience. While there, I obtained many certifications in property appraisal, assessment administration, land valuation, personal property valuation, and mapping. I have a level 2 tenancy assessment certification from the Division of Property Assessment. And I worked in almost every division in the assessor's office while I was there. I started as a real property clerk and moved into personal property, where I would go on to manage that division while also serving as a mapper and doing some administrative functions in the office. I onboarded and trained new employees. I worked with the budget for the office, handled issues with the fleet, purchasing and payables, and did a lot with the Greenbelt program. I currently work in real estate, which has helped me to understand how the office can better serve the public. And I believe that's what qualifies me to work or be elected as the assessor.
I'm also a native of Clarksville. I married my high school sweetheart, Bryce Hester. We have 2 boys, Hayden and Ethan, who are 20 and 18. I've already proven myself to be a successful assessor in the last 10 years in the office. We've had successful reappraisals, we've had 0 audit findings, and we've won multiple awards over the years. My degree is in accounting from Austin Peay, and I started my tenure with the county in 2005. So I've got nearly 19 years of experience in county government. I was director of accounts and budgets, and where I was responsible for a budget of, directly responsible for a budget of over $100 million annually, and then responsible for a legislated budget, because it included the schools, of over $400 million. And my roles in A and B, we worked with every department in county government, and those relationships and that network is what qualifies me to continue as assessor.
All right. For some people, property assessment is a complex topic. When asked what the property assessor does, how would you explain it, Ms. Castle-Swafford?
So what I've seen out talking to people through my adventures has been that not a lot of people know what the assessor's office is or does, but it's a very complex office. They're responsible ultimately for discovering, listing, and assessing property, any taxable property, real or personal, in Montgomery County. This involves constantly processing data that comes in from different sources, different offices there. All of that goes into creating all the work that goes into a periodic reappraisal, which here is every 5 years. They also deal with every business in Montgomery County for personal property tax assessment, and they maintain all the parcel maps. That's what the office does, but the assessor themselves is responsible for making sure that all of those are carried out fairly and equitably, while also managing a staff and engaging in public relations. They have to ensure the taxpayers' questions are handled promptly and efficiently, that they're well informed of changes that affect them and the rights that they have as a property owner.
The core function of the assessor is the fair and equitable valuation of all real and tangible personal property for ad valorem purposes. We swear to appraise and classify and assess all real and tangible personal property in the county without, and most importantly, fear, favor, or affection. It's the process of a reappraisal is technical and it is complex, but the office is not. It is the fair and equitable assessment of property for ad valorem purposes. Ad valorem means added value. So the work that's done in the assessor's office, it's those efforts that allow local government to fund schools and roads and parks and the jails. Many duties fall under the umbrella of the assessor. It's the maintenance of ownership records and maintenance of land records and calculating tax frees with the trustee's office, which makes it so that people that are in the need of that program, and there's only 26 counties actually in Tennessee that participate in tax freeze program, it makes housing more affordable for our senior citizens. We do have the responsibility of the completion of the cyclical revaluation process. We have the responsibility for completing sales analysis on all the sales that take place in Montgomery County. And over the last 3 years, those sales have been in the 5 digits. I believe the last year we were at about 16,000 sales that we have to independently and individually review to see if they qualify for the revaluation process. All of that work encompasses nearly 100,000 parcels and accounts with a market value of over $40 billion. So that's the responsibility of the assessor and the office.
So since this is a Republican primary, how would you define a Republican approach to the property assessor's role?
Yeah.
Councilor Swafford?
Yeah, so the main work of the assessor is nonpartisan, and everybody should be treated fairly and equitably, regardless of which side. But as a conservative Republican, I do believe that the administration of the office should focus on reduced spending of taxpayer dollars. One of my first and primary objectives is going to be to reduce employee turnover. That's a problem that's plagued this office. Under the current leadership, this office has experienced significant turnover, increased litigation, and the inability to retain a seasoned and knowledgeable staff. I will also review contracts within the office to make sure that taxpayers are getting the most for their money, and that these contracts are free from conflict of interest. I don't believe that any family member should be contracted with companies that are or any family member should work for companies that are contracted by the county assessor's office. I'll cut frivolous travel. The main priority of the assessor should be the taxpayers of Montgomery County. They should be available to them. When there are events that must be attended, no more staff than necessary will be sent. I'll make myself available to the public as a priority. There's no reason that a taxpayer should have to wait months for a face-to-face meeting with the assessor. As a conservative, I also believe that government should be limited, so I'll review and address unnecessary processes that have been put into place by current leadership that create hurdles for property owners and increase workload for the staff.
To me, to run for assessor as a Republican is the fair and equitable valuation of all real and personal property without fear, favor, or affection. And it is a nonpartisan role. I am not saying that it is different for a Republican to run as assessor as the goal for a Democrat. I want to be real clear on that. But the question is about a Republican, so let's talk about Republican standards. It means understanding that I'm running for the office under the qualifications that I have achieved and the desire to continue serving my community and doing so with class and with grace and with elegance. It means I approach the administration and the leadership of this office with a common sense philosophy, leaving bureaucratic and draconian means aside. It means I have to make decisions that require both integrity and a backbone to execute. And it also means that sometimes I have to tell someone with much more influence and resources than I have that I'm sorry, I'm unable to do that for you. It means thinking outside of myself and towards my peers and my community. For example, employing resources that are shared by many agencies in city and county government, therefore reducing the tax burden and fostering better communication between departments. More common sense, less money. It means investing in my team so they're educated and developed, which encourages both longevity and a better taxpayer experience. And it means changing the law so people have a right to privacy again. We are not all the way there yet, but we are working to move the pendulum the other way. We started this in 2021 when I was president of the Assessors Association, and working with our local delegation, we passed the unlisted bill. It originated right here in Montgomery County, and that allows people the opportunity to suppress their owner name on their property in the assessor's records. The Republican approach to the assessor's office is fair and it's smart.
Thank you. Next question, what is the property assessor's role in working with other elected officials across Montgomery County?
Yeah, so the property assessor is just one piece of a big machine. They have to work with everybody seamlessly. They rely on information from other offices rely on information with them. So maintaining those relationships, working on that, working with them is an absolute must. You've got all of your property records that come in from the deeds office, from Chancery Court, from the different court functions. Those all have to come in, be processed by the assessor in order to turn over a tax roll. So outside of that, you've also got to work with legislative bodies, making them understand that the data that you have, how their decisions are going to work with that data to impact the taxpayers. You also have to work with non-elected officials, building and codes. You know, when I was there, I worked with 911 on mapping issues and GIS issues. Law enforcement relied on us for different things. Property ownership, they were pretty good at finding, but sometimes they wanted different layouts, different pictures, different images that we may have of homes. You know, working with fire departments for losses. This is an office that, to function properly, has to work well with all facets of local government.
The most straightforward answer to that question is the assessor's role in working with other elected officials is to benefit the person who lives and pays taxes in Montgomery County. I have the honor of working closely with our Register of Deeds and county trustee. Usually we're working together for a solution to the taxpayer. More recently, we've been invited by Clarksville Association of Realtors to provide education on what our offices do and how we work together. I believe my role to county mayor and county commission is to keep them informed when something in my office is going on that would potentially impact their constituents. I don't like to be blindsided, and I don't want them to have to be blindsided. You know, just Monday, I shared some of what my office has been seeing with the recent tornado and what we're doing to solicit information from the property owner. Every duty the assessor performs in the county is also performed for the benefit of the municipal jurisdiction. I have the pleasure of working with Mayor Pitts. Most people know that he represented us at state government and still has many friends there. And a few weeks ago, I called him because I was hearing stories of people selling their tornado-damaged homes for way under market value because their insurance had refused coverage. And he acted on that information, and Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance spent 2 days here last week making sure people weren't being taken advantage of. And it is a very humbling thing to know that you have the relationships and the network to help people when they need it most. Lastly, local property taxes is where large corporate entities invest to benefit their bottom line. It's a guarantee that nearly every legislative season, a new bill will be presented to the General Assembly that will make state tax policy more favorable to those large corporations. They have lobbyists with deep pockets, and the residential property owner has the assessor. So we work with our state delegation, and together we work hard to keep the property owner from paying no more or no less than their fair share, and certainly not that of the corporate entity.
Thank you. All right, and so now for some closing comments, Ms. Kessler-Swift.
Yeah. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak here. I want to end with saying I'm a public servant. I'm not a politician. This is something that I never envisioned myself doing. But I'm also not the kind of person that can know that something is not functioning properly and just sit back and complain about it. So that's why I decided to throw my name into the hat. While working at the assessor's office, I saw a lot of things that were done very well, but I saw a lot more that were not. If elected, I promise to reduce wasted tax dollars, improve public interactions with the office, cut conflicts of interest out, and be present. I would appreciate your support and your vote in the upcoming primary. And again, thank you so much.
I'm running to retain the office of Assessor of Property under my own merit and my own accomplishments. The office is called the most technical office in local government because of the varied tasks and complexities of the revaluation process itself. Under my leadership, we've had over a decade of clean, unqualified audits. We brought home 11 awards from the Assessors Association since 2015, including Assessor of the Year and the Excellence in Operations Award twice. Over 70% of the team has achieved a certification from the State Division of Property Assessments, and that Level 1 award takes over 2 years to achieve alone. Personally, I have a certified government financial manager and a certified public administrator. I'm in the process of the assessment administration specialist. Our office is professional, it's equitable, it's open. Every real property record is online for anyone in the world to review at any time. As a former auditor, that's the most transparent and effective internal control system that you can have. We listen to the public and we try to think like our users. Software applications like Stratum and Property Record Card were added from that very perspective and have been so well received by the public. I certainly didn't have sign placement in mind when I was dreaming up Stratum in my brain, but I bet every candidate running for office right now is using that product to know where to place their signs and who owns that property. You know, we have, like I've said many times tonight, the assessor swears to administer the law and the Constitution of the state without fear, without favor, without affection. We have done so successfully for over a decade under my leadership, and it is my desire to continue to do that, continue that service to the community. Thank you, Clarksville Now. I want to thank my spouse because these elections don't happen without the support of your family, and mine has been working tirelessly with me. And lastly, I want to ask the public for their vote on March 5th.
Thank you both for participating in this forum. Thank you for running for public office. It's not easy to put yourself out there to be a leader in the community, and our community needs leaders like that. So thank you for that. Be sure to vote in the upcoming election. For more information on all of the candidates and the races, you can go to clarksvillenow.com.